Shout out Set Go Recruits.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Set Go Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Luke Turner. Over here at Set Go Recruits, we interview some of the top high school football recruits in the country. Make sure you go like, comment, subscribe, and follow the Instagram in the description below. Stay tuned, and you don't want to miss this episode. Today, I'm here with three-star class of 27 Edge, Troy Mailo, out of J.K. Mullen High School. Bro, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, bro. Can't complain. Weather's nice out here in California, so.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then, bro, Troy, how's this past off season been for you?
It's been crazy for me, honestly. Obviously working out, doing as much as I can to get better, and then like these last few months have just been a crazy few months going to camps and like just meeting coaches, and then obviously the June 15th coaches being able to reach out. So it's been kind of just a crazy summer, like a whirlwind of things for me.
Yeah. So I know you said you just started kind of summer OTAs with back with your team. How's it been to be kind of back in that groove of things, being back with your team?
It's great. It's always good to get in early with your team and be able to build bonds. And obviously, we've done that through the past few years. With the class above me, the 26th class, and then my class and the class below. And it's good. It's been good to meet these freshmen and kind of start to talk to them and get to know them, because obviously they're the future of our program. So, but the OTAs, they've been going good. Everybody's coming. So yeah, it's been really solid. It's been good.
And then, yeah, so with your junior season coming up, what are you most excited for?
Oh man, this year for me, um, last year was a year I came back. So the year before last year I was injured. So I was kind of still shaking off a little bit of rust last year. But now I feel like all that rust is gone. So I'm excited to just be able to play at my full ability this season.
Yeah. That's got to be exciting.
Yes, sir.
You were injured and now you're coming back. Now you're
Mm-hmm.
fully healthy, getting back to it.
100%. Yep.
And then, is there any personal goals that you set for yourself this season?
Yeah. So for me, well, probably the biggest goal is obviously for me alone was I want to lead the state in sacks, regardless of classification. You know, that's probably my biggest thing individually. And then for a team, obviously want to win a state championship. I mean, that's kind of the big goal.
Yeah. And then, being an edge, who would you say you model kind of your game or your play style after?
I think I can't just put it on one player.
Yeah.
I'd have to maybe like two. For me, it'd be TJ Watt. I'm a Steelers fan, so I've kind of been watching him just this whole time, and try to model especially my motor. Like, I mean, that dude never stops going, no matter what's going on throughout the whole play. So that's one of the main things that I modeled. And then I'd say Micah Parsons or Abdul Carter, because I'm similar in size to those guys. The 6'3", 240, 250 kind of guys. Faster, maybe a little shorter than some of the other guys. But so those are probably the people that I most try to model my game after.
Yeah. Do you like kind of study them and watch film on them?
Yeah, so obviously I said I was a Steelers fan, so I've been watching CJ Watt. I was watching the game, so I mean it's been and I think it's good when there's players like that in the league that young players can watch and look up to, especially with how great of a pass rusher he is and just an overall defensive end edge. And then Micah Parsons, I mean, yeah, I've been watching him since he was at Penn State, so
Yeah. And then, kind of off topic question that I'm just going to throw in here. I know you said you're a Steelers fan.
Mhm.
Who would you say is your way too early Super Bowl champion for this next year?
I obviously I'm gonna be biased, but I'm gonna have to say my Steelers. That's my team, so I'm gonna have to go with them. I don't know about this Aaron Rodgers situation, but I think it could be a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see how he does with the Steelers this year.
I hope he's not too old. I hope he can still move a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely pretty old, but I think he still got
Oh
it, you know?
yeah, for sure, for sure.
And then so obviously being a 3-star, getting all these D1 offers, what's some adversity that you've kind of had to overcome to get to where you are now?
You know, um, I talked about it, but my freshman year, um, after the first game of the season, I got injured in practice. So I dislocated my kneecap, which in turn tore the MPFL ligament, which is the ligament that holds your kneecap in place.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have a true freshman season to really settle in and get used to high school ball. So that's probably one of the biggest things for me was mentally staying, strong and continuing to have the drive to keep going and try to pursue my dreams because it's hard, especially when you love something and then you just can't do it.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and that was definitely the hardest thing for me was just being able to stay headstrong. And luckily, I have a great support system around me. My parents, my family, my school, and then obviously the Lord to comfort me and help me through that struggle. So that was probably my biggest obstacle that I've had, or struggle that I've had.
Yeah. And I know you kind of talked about it a little bit, but what were like a few things that really helped you get through that?
Yeah, just leaning on my parents. I mean, they're super supportive and they've always been that way. So it wasn't any different when I got hurt. And be able to fall back and lean on them when I was struggling and I had hard times going for me was definitely a plus. And then my coaches definitely helped me stay stay in check and mentally correct through that time. And then I always try to mention this, but the Lord, like leaning on Him through prayer or whatever it may be, really really helped me through that hard time for me.
Yeah. And then to all like the people who are injured out there going through rehab or going through injuries, what kind of encouragement would you give them or what advice would you give them?
For me, I'd say stay focused on your goals, whatever it is. If your goal is just to be able to be healthy for your season, or if you're deep into your recovery time, trying to PT and all that stuff, I say just keep going, stay focused on your goals, lean on your family and friends, because they'll be there for you. And then trust in the Lord, trust in His timing and what He has planned for you. Because if you trust in Him, you'll succeed what you want to succeed.
Yeah, that's good. And then Troy, let's talk recruiting for a second.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
what was that feeling like getting your first ever offer?
Man, for me, it was a surreal experience, right? Because Coach Miley, who is at Boise State now, um, he offered me in eighth grade when he was at Washington State. So I mean, as an eighth grader, especially, there's a lot of emotions. It was crazy to me being able to receive what I dreamed about. The whole time in my childhood and through that middle school, just you know, and you'd see things, kids here and there getting offers in my grade at that time. But to me, it was really humbling, and it was just a great blessing. Um, I was super grateful and thankful for Coach Miley, and then for everything that followed that.
Yeah. And then kind of a follow-up. Have you gone on any visits recently?
So I was at Oklahoma for a camp and Michigan for a camp. So I was blessed to receive offers at those camps. And then what was great is at Oklahoma, I was able to go around campus and see everything with Coach Chavez, the ends coach. It was an amazing experience. Incredible, incredible coaches, incredible people over there. And then at Michigan, um, I I got to have the pleasure of competing in the camp and then winning defensive line MVP over there. So me and two other kids got to go through a whole tour of the facility. And like I said, again, like great people and incredible facilities over there. So those are the two that I've gotten to be on recently. Those are my two.
Have you been on any, did you go on any visits before that or?
Yeah. So prior to that, during season, I went to Nebraska. I went up there during a game day. I got to visit there, sit down. I mean, that stadium is crazy. Those fans, they go crazy over
Yeah.
there. Sure. But I mean, that's the only one that I've been on before. That was on this year before Michigan and Oklahoma visits.
Yeah, has there been any? I know you were talking about Michigan, Oklahoma, Nebraska, but has there been any schools that have like immediately stood out to you?
Um,
Be a potential fit in the future?
you know, I right now I've only been able to have the pleasure to go out to Oklahoma and Michigan. So obviously those two are amazing programs. But honestly, I think that right now all the programs that are recruiting me are kind of in even ground right now because I definitely want to be able to go and see as many of the schools that are recruiting me as I can, so I can really get a feel for all these programs. That way, I can make the best decision for where I see myself fitting in the future.
Yeah, and then do you have any visits kind of coming up?
Currently, I don't have anything necessarily planned yet, but I know I definitely want to get out to games this fall. And I've gotten a decent amount of invites to come out to games. So, all that planning is definitely gonna kick up soon. But right now, I don't really necessarily have anything planned for now.
Yeah, for sure. And then is there any places that you're super excited to see or you really want to see?
I mean, honestly, I'm just super excited to be able to see everything.
Yeah.
All these places are obviously amazing schools, right? Um, so for me, it's just incredible experience to be able to even be in this blessed situation where I get to go and see all these amazing programs and see all this. Because as a kid, you see these things on the internet. You're like, oh, this kid's going here and he's going to see this. And
Yeah.
so for me to be able to be that kid now is super amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah, and then what would you say? This is another kind of random question, but what would you say is like the biggest misconception about being like an elite prospect or getting like D1 offers, kind of being under a lot of exposure? What would you say is like the biggest misconception about it?
I, for me, I think people think that once you get exposure and you're being out in the media and you're getting ranked and all this, like that it's easy now and you can kind of just relax and you don't have to work hard anymore. Like that's a total lie. I mean, now that I've been blessed to receive all this attention and things are happening to me, it's just kicked me into another gear of work, honestly, because now when you have these national things and you're getting recruited, you have something to really train hard to prove. For me, I really want to train hard to prove these coaches right. That like I'm the right kid for them to offer, and I'm the right kid for what them want to have in their program. But yeah, I think that's the biggest misconception is that when you're getting national attention and you're getting ranked, that everything comes easy from there. Like that's totally not true at all.
Yeah. If anything, it would be like the opposite, I feel like.
Exactly,
You got to work
exactly.
even harder, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing that coaches will tell you. They're like, if you receive an offer from them, they're going to tell you straight up, like, now that you got this offer, this doesn't mean that you you're going to be able to relax. Now it's time to work even harder and get even better, which is totally true.
Yeah. It's got to be like extra, it's for sure, probably extra motivation, to
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
go out and grind even harder.
Hmm.
But my last question for you,
Oh,
I
yeah.
asked everyone this, is you probably answered it a little bit so far in this interview, but there's a lot of kids out there who dream of being in your position, right? Kind of like you said you did when you were younger.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of kids out there who dream of being in your position and dream of getting D1 offers and being a top recruit.
Yeah.
What would some advice be that you would give them?
That's a good question. The best advice that I could give from my experience, which is limited still. I'm not even all the way done with this high school career of mine, but I would say just keep your head down. Don't stop working. Trust that the Lord is gonna guide you to the correct path that He has placed for you.
Yeah,
Don't try to make obviously work hard, but don't try to force your way into situations. If that makes sense. Just keep working, keep your head down, stay humble at all times. Because even if you are a top recruit or when you are, you can't let that go to your head. If you let that go to your head, you're gonna mess yourself up. So that's really it. Stay humble, trust in the Lord, keep grinding, and never, it's kind of corny, but never give up on your dreams, right? Just keep
that's good.
pushing no matter.
No, that's good advice. And then, bro, I appreciate you a lot for just coming on this show and being
Yeah,
down. I'm looking forward to watching the season and keeping up with you.
nah,
And yeah, I really appreciate you.
thank you so much for taking your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.